Greetings to you all. So they're going to be looking at access lists. So we're going to be looking at basic access lists and advanced access lists. So if you've been following along and you have been able to configure all these networks, that would be very good for you. So those who didn't manage to configure it, so you're going to be configuring, you're going to first go through some troubleshooting, as you will see that some pieces, especially from the camera network, we will not be able to ping to the service desk and the management and accountant network. So we're going to first go through the troubleshooting. So we're going to do a little bit of troubleshooting, configure things up, then we shall configure the access lists. So let us get along. So as you can see, remember we had previously configured DHCP on this particular network. So we expect our hosts to be getting IP addresses through DHCP, but as you can see, this one is not able, this particular camera is not able, which is not able to get an IP address from the core switch. So that means there is a configuration problem, and we have to configure, I have to troubleshoot that so that we can set up the lab quickly. So we are going to do that. So as you can see, I started up this lab earlier on, so by this time everything should be working right. So we're going to go along and do the troubleshooting. This is interface Ethernet 03. So first of all, we're going to run the display current configuration to check our currently configured configuration if everything is intact. As you can see, Ethernet 003 there's no configuration on it, and also on our server here, the camera server Ethernet 004, there's nothing configured on them. So on these particular ports, they're supposed to be access ports, and they should have a default VLAN of VLAN 3. So we're going to first configure that. So we're going to go system view, interface Ethernet 003. And I'm going to say to the port link type. I'm going to change it to access. Then port default VLAN is supposed to be VLAN 30. Is our camera VLAN. Then also we go to Ethernet interface 004. Port link type access, port default VLAN, supposed to be VLAN 30. So if we again do our display current configuration, as you can see now, this is now on the 3 and 4 now on access. So I have two uplink interfaces, so we shall be referring to the core switch one. This one is connected to core switch 2. So we are going to configure this interface gig 002. Also, as you can see, supposed to be a trunk and supposed to be allowing our VLAN 3 to pass through. So we are going to also configure that interface gig 002. Port link type trunk, port trunk allow pass VLAN 30, right? 30. So if we do display current config, so this should be good to go. Should make sure that Ethernet 03 and Ethernet 04 are both access, and then our gig 02, which is connected to core switch 1, is a trunk port, and also is able to access this particular VLAN 30. VLAN 30 is able to pass through. So that would be good to go for this panel, and save our configuration. Are we able to get an IP address yet? So we can now check, because we have finished this access switch. So as you can see, we are still unable to get an IP address from the core switch one. So now I have to come to core switch one and check out what's the problem. We can first display the current configuration, display current configuration. So as you can see, what is this downlink to our course, to our access switch, to that is Ethernet gig 005. As you can see here, gig 005, there is no configuration on it, so that could be the first problem we have identified. So we shall go to interface gig 005 and change its port link type to trunk, port link type to trunk, then port trunk, allow pass VLAN 30, right? Again, do display current configuration. So we have fixed the problem of the trunk on that particular interface. Are we able to get an IP address from core switch one? If we come here, still we are not able to get an IP address. So now we need to check the DHCP server configuration here. Display current config. So where are our IP pools? Must be on top. IP pools. So as you can see, we have two IP pools so far configured on our core switch one. We have pool for the service desk and the management. So there is no pool for our IP cameras. So we're going to configure that. We're going to do IP pool. IP pool, we shall name it camera. So our network 192.168.100.64 is our network for the camera. Then the mask is 27. Let us confirm that. So as you can see, this is the network. That's right. So we're going to do the gateway list. Gateway list, we're going to give it 192.168.100.65. That is the first usable IP address in that network segment. So we are going to give it our DNS. So we shall give it our default gateway as the first DNS server. Then we shall target Google's DNS server. Good to go. So quit, display current configuration. All right. So our camera IP pool is there. So we need to go into the VLAN interface of the camera. VLAN interface of the camera, which is interface VLAN 3, and you enable it to select global. So interface VLAN 30, DHCP select global, and we need to give this interface an IP address. Display IP interface brief. So we need to give, actually it is having an IP address of 65. So probably it should be able to get an IP address if everything is configured right. If you come back here, we should be able, yeah. So we have been able to get an IP address from the DHCP server there, which is good to go. But remember, previously you had set up the virtual route redundancy protocol, so this would be also another opportunity to practice with that. So what we're going to do, we are going to do the IP address on this interface VLAN. So undo IP address. So we assign it a new IP address of IP address 192.168.100.66. 66. Then we are going to create a V group. Then you are going to name it 30. Then you are going to make the virtual IP 192.168.100.65, which is our default gateway, right? Yeah. So that is set. Okay. Hopefully, if we come back here, should be able to get. Let us try to ping that gateway to make sure that our virtual route redundancy protocol is configured well. .100.65. Yes, so the virtual route redundancy protocol is also configured well. So probably now, if we assign our server a static IP address of 192.168.100.67, and then the subnet mask is 225, 225, 225, and 224. Then our default gateway is 192.168.100.65.65, and we apply. We should be able to ping our IP config. We should be able to ping our camera server, which is 192.168.100.67. So as you can see, we can now successfully ping this particular IP server from both network segments. Let's try to ping it from here. We're getting an IP address from the HTTP server, right? Can we ping the camera server? 67. All right. So now we have set up our lab. So if you were able to set up this lab, yeah, I expected you to have proceeded to part 2 of the video. So now we are going to meet in part 2. We are going to configure the basic and advanced access list. So if you haven't considered subscribing, please subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next video.